Hello and welcome to Master Manual, a practical guide for DMs, GMs, and just wanna BMs and other folks too. This is a podcast where I thought you were going to keep going.
No, just my
where
favorite
we
part.
answer questions and talk about role-playing games such as D&D 5e, but mostly from the DM POV.
We hope other folks can enjoy it too.
Not me. I hate you.
Spencer.
I'm just starting just with a lead foot.
This is season 2.
This is season 2.
You're supposed to show character growth.
This is my growth. I've become the bad cop.
You were.
I'm beating the listeners.
I hope we're beating their
Hopes up.
boredom away.
I
I
hope
hope we're beating off their boredom.
I hope we're beating.
I hope
hope
everybody who listens to this podcast is bored and beating off.
That's fair.
Let's go.
Away. How have you been? What are
I've
you
been
doing?
good, but who are you?
Nope. I'm Spencer. You can't stop me.
I'm Cohen. I'm also here.
Oh yeah, and you can't stop he.
That came together better than I expected. I've been doing good. I did some. I DM'd a one shot this past weekend for some friends.
I D&D'd a 10-shot.
Oh right, you did your little show.
Yeah. I can't remember it though. I
was there for the start.
Here's what I remember before they started taping. In one episode, Dan talked about like having a baby or something, and then Aaron like made it not like he was gonna have a baby, but like a joke, like, oh, like can you imagine like if I had a baby or something? You know, like
Yeah.
the joke was like, oh, my beard's covered in Cheetos. Could you imagine if I had a baby? Like something in that milieu. And then Aaron like laughed at him. So like the joke being like, can you imagine you having a baby, you know? And then I just basically took that same joke and I just was like ha 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 ha, and then like I just started like glaring, and I just like was glaring at Dan going ha 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 ha, and then I was like looking at the audience just going ha ha, and like the whole endeavor took about 30 to 40 seconds of just me going like ha ha.
Is this gonna make it to the?
No, because the cameras were rolling, because it was just the pre-tape kind of when we were getting settled in our chairs and stuff, but when they were like talking to us and doing makeup touch-ups, but we were just talking. You know,
Did the audience get to enjoy it?
Yeah, the mics were live, so they could still hear us. They thought it was pretty funny.
That's
but
secret treats.
yeah, it's just I really wish they were taping. But
So what you're referring to, of course, is your you did the taping for Harmon Quest for season 3.
Harmon Quest season 3, it'll be out sometime in probably a year.
That's about how long animation takes, y'all.
Yeah, but that's not a one shot at all.
No.
What about your one shot?
Oh yeah, so a friend of mine, Laser of the Geek Core band, the Double Clicks. It was their birthday this past weekend, and so as a present, I DM'd, and also they said, "Hey, do you want to DM a one shot?" Because I think they knew I was a little bit depressed last week, and like gave me something to latch on to.
So it's a gift for both of you.
Yeah, it was perfect. They play in the game that I play in, and their husband Rich Milena is my DM. So I was DMing for my DM, and also for my friends Graham and Caroline. How are you doing? It's nice to talk to you through this medium. Get back to me through your own podcast.
It's been so long. I'm glad you finally could make it.
Yeah.
To this format of communication.
Yeah, they're not here. That was just a message.
No, I know, and that's my section of your message. It's me like putting PS from Spencer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just thought I'd crucify your joke on the Gogothel of my misunderstanding.
No, that's fair. I'm used to it.
It was cool though. It was a one shot. It was like wild goats, how to find goats or something. Well, you know what? I should really.
Was it? Did they bring it? The one
No,
shot?
I looked it up. I'm gonna be honest. I googled best 5e one shot.
Oh, cool.
Which is what I'm gonna do again right now. It's called a wild sheep chase.
A wild sheep. That sounds vaguely familiar, but
yeah,
I don't know why.
It was really fun. It was like 2 combats. You can find it on the DM Guild, or also I think for free. We'll link it in the biz.
I think I saw it on the DM Guild once.
We'll link it in the description.
Hell
it was
yeah.
really good. It was the first time I have DM'd in person in like a couple of years. And I had forgotten just how fun it is, how much easier it is than Skype. I mean, I love DMing over Skype.
It's
I love
much
my crew.
easier.
Yeah, but it's a lot easier, and like, I think I would liken it to acting in a scene with a real person versus acting against a CGI prop.
Or like in an audition where
you're acting against running lines with somebody
with
who's
nothing. Or
yeah, because you can react and look, and you don't have to say people's names as much, and it was really fun. I think I did a good job. I leaned into voices. More and more I've been realizing that I'll lean into voices. Like the villain I did. Have you seen the television program My Hero Academia?
Of course, no.
Oh, okay.
I want to.
Well, there's a villain on there, and for the bad wizard, I did the villain's voice, and I kind of did it like this.
Oh, shit.
You adventurers are coming into my tower, and you want to take my wand from me?
And I'm an exhausted nerd.
I really hate that.
Yeah, that is the character. Is an
It's like
exhausted.
the
The character is literally an exhausted.
The
nerd.
creepy kind of like the creepy nerd who's like, I did all this work and now I'm punishing you.
Yeah, and then I had a half orc. I did the voice of Gluttony from Full Metal Alchemist. Like,
My master wants you to come back, and he wants you to bring your sheep.
That's a hard one.
yeah, it's that's why that character didn't live very long. But it was really,
okay.
it was a lot of fun. It made me. I really want to get. I know I've talked about it before, but I really want to get like an in-person game going, and I think circumstances in my life are going to allow for that very soon. Yeah,
right.
Things have been. I've been enjoying my new job.
Yeah, no, and you're just getting more stability, huh?
Yeah,
Just like in terms of time management, even.
Oh yeah, are you building up to something?
No, I'm just because now that you have like a regular job and you're not.
Oh yeah,
like,
I don't get up at 3.
Well, no, you're just kind of stabilized. You know, it's like when you're in a time of churn. You know, it's like you're kind of like in a transitory time, and then you're like, I don't know what's going on, and then you get stabilized, and then it's like, okay, I'm building routines, and then you can start building out more structure to your life. You know, that's what I'm getting. Nothing specific, really, just kind of like archetypical.
Archetypal.
On Harmontown last night, because I left my stuff at home and was exhausted from Harmon Quest, Dan DM'd. But basically, we spent like maybe 5 minutes talking at the top of the show, and then immediately Dan just was DMing D&D for us.
That sounds like a really good episode.
It was pretty fun. It ended up being like Shadowrun-ish, but it was good. We fought mind flayers. I don't know. It was fine.
I think the one Harmontown I've ever been to in person, he improvised a murder mystery.
Oh yeah,
and that was really good.
That sounds good.
I had my Paul F. Tompkins was there. I had a grand old time.
I vaguely remember that.
I guess now that I'm not like working the hours that I work, maybe I could come to your show at some point.
Oh, don't feel compelled, but sure. I mean, anytime we could get you in for free. Don't worry about it.
Damn.
But yeah, don't feel compelled. It's not. It's in downtown kind of area. But
yeah. Well, you know, it could be fun.
I know it sucks. No, it's a lot of fun, and everyone should come to it. But yeah, that's all I really got.
When do our live shows start?
Next week.
Oh shit!
That we're doing a gig. We're doing a gig for Thanksgiving post show.
Oh yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, I didn't even say the words. I wanted to say something Christmas, but it came out Thanksgiving. So that's where my mental state is at. I bought the book Under the Mad Mage's Mountain or whatever, like Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I don't know. New D&D book came out. It's a dungeon about a mad mage's under mountain.
Oh yeah, isn't this like it's like the return to the mega dungeon, right? This is like the first mega dungeon book they've released in a long time.
I don't know if it is that. It might be, but I don't know. It's definitely cool as shit.
Yeah?
That's all I know.
Should I run that instead of Horde of the Dragon Queen?
Honestly, I don't know Horde of the Dragon Queen, but it's something that I was like, oh, I want to run this.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll run that
cool.
instead.
And then, but Horde of the Dragon Queen's probably cool. I've never done anything Tiamat related, and that always seemed like a cool thing. thing, and it is Tiamat related, right?
Yeah, she is the titular dragon queen.
Right. That's what I thought. It's just a crazy, that was a Yu-Gi-Oh monster, I think, in an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, you're talking about the 5-headed dragon when they go into the cyberverse,
the VR.
and the big five, the 5 executives who were trying to take over Kaiba Corp, each embody the head of a dragon.
That was a good scam. You remember in the and then we'll program it in so each of our heads are a different head of this dragon.
Yeah,
and that way we'll win the company.
I always it's always good to fight your enemies entirely on the terms in which they are most powerful, such as inside a video game they created at the game they're the world champion at.
Yeah, man, that's business 101 right there. But that's
you think they could have just made his VR pod airtight?
They should have.
Could have looked like an accident very easily.
It would be good if they lost the fight and then they jumped out of their AirPods and they're like, duct tape the pods closed.
They actually got stuck in the pods, and then later there was a filler arc where they had to fight those guys again. They did Deckmaster stuff. They did stuff that was...
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I talked about Deckmasters with you when you were teaching me Magic. And
right.
Yeah.
Now I definitely remember it.
Mm-hmm. I figured.
Do you want to do our first segment, which is Improv Segment? We don't have a name for this segment, but anyway, it's the segment where I talk about things that I read off the internet related to improv and try to bullshit up some reason that it's related to Dungeons and Dragons as well. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So I've been reading this list, and I read 1 in an episode previous, and now I'm reading 2.
What if we called it UCB D&D?
What if we call it
UCB&D?
Is there's Second City and D, UCD&D? Yeah, that's what you said, right? Or did you see UCB?
UCD&D is better.
No, UCB&D is definitely
okay.
Better. UCB&D. So number 2 is don't ask open-ended questions. So it says open-ended questions are scene killers because they force your partner to stop whatever they're doing and come up with an answer. When you ask your partner an open-ended question, you put the burden of coming up with something interesting on your partner, so you're no longer doing a scene together but forcing one person who has to do more of the work than you're willing to do. There's bad grammar there, and I think that it's their bad grammar, not mine. Anyway, how do we apply this to D&D?
Well, how do we apply it to D&D, Spencer?
This seems a little hard, actually, because I think open-ended questions are a lot more relevant in D&D than they are in improv. But to lean into it, I would say that as a dungeon master, you can kind of just leave it to your players to just go through your content. Or you can get in there and start doing close-ended things, specific pointing things out to them. You've actually given this advice before, Cohen, that you can engage a player by saying, "What do you think about this specifically?"
And this is straight up from the second page of the DMG.
Right.
And it's ask specific questions that allow for improv, but that give them something to work off of.
Right. And so that's I assume that's probably coming from that exact concept because it's giving them a specific prompt. It's not leaving them spiraling with endless options and making them not know what they should be doing.
Yeah, what do you do is a weird question to ask.
It's open ended.
Yeah, if you're at the point where you're using a question to force engagement, which is fun. Yeah, go for it. Ask. The wizard asked the party, all kinds of stuff.
Another thing is in that same thing, you can, by not asking open-ended questions, you can just do things. And as a DM, if there's ambiguity or stuff that's not happening, you can just make something specific happen. And then it's not leaving the open question, what is supposed to be happening? Mm-hmm. Now a new thing has happened. And so that's what's supposed to be happening. Sorry, I think I cut you off.
No, you saved me because I had nothing.
Great. Well, we don't want to spend too much time on this segment. We just kind of want to muse on it for a bit. So unless you have any last thoughts, I think we really nailed it.
Yeah, give them some either-ors.
Either-ors. If-thens.
Or what would it take to X? Ask, if you got a guy who wants to surrender, he's like, what do I got to do to get you to stop hitting me?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I like it. So that's the segment. without a name.
Nope, it has a good name.
It's I didn't even remember it.
UC, the sign of a good name.
UCB&D.
At least in my life. I'm not good remembering names. But speaking of things without names, I think it's time to play that famous bit that people love. It's Helga Cruciform.
The nameless segment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see what I have on this thing. I think I just have this one song. All right. What are we doing?
Bitsy
Names?
Seacat.
Trixie, no lice.
That's
a premium back then, you know?
Trixie No Lice?
Yeah, no lice.
Okay. Laura Beach Pit.
Fenton Nalris.
Scathe Ivy. Scathe Ivy Fence.
Scathe Unibomb.
Scathe Unabomber.
Scathe Unibombist.
Scathe Final Fantasy.
Harry Potter. No, let me try again.
Grindelwald.
Terry Treebark.
Vort Bethany.
Gurlon Two Fingers.
Marky Firebone.
Marky Thoreau.
Amber Brick Jug.
Barry Stoolweeds.
Shelby Farscape.
Shelby Solomon the Wenst.
Solomon the Wenst.
Or at least the...
Want to know that guy.
The Irgotten. The Ill-gotten. Solomon the Ill Repute.
Disjam So Hot.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, that was a name.
Oh,
Disjam
no.
So Hot.
Thane Q.
Forbing.
A friend.
Yes!
All right, that was Helga
happy.
Crucible. Helga Crucible.
With my whole heart, I wanted that to happen.
All right. You guys. Oh, do you want to list off? You asked for some names? Do you want to riff off some names?
Oh yeah, let's.
And by riff off, I mean list off some names that the users have sent us.
Oh, the user.
Yeah.
Some say he plays games for fun. No one knows for sure, but I intend to find out.
And the Legacy Music Hour podcast, they call their listeners users, which is kind of silly.
It's a little bit silly. All right, let's see some of those good answers. All right, we got Long Tall Paul from Tom. We got Jake Snizkin. We got Hambone. We got Stern Thunderbus. We got Beryl Fennelberry. Franken Sedagiv. Newt Bevels. Pat Bonkus. That's a good one.
Hell yeah.
That's from CL Findle.
Pat Bonkus.
Plum Bob the Greasy.
Plum Bob the Greasy.
Hilbo Diddle.
Hilbo Diddle.
Grum the Doubtful. Ted Liquid.
Ted Liquid.
Sharkfoot Jim.
I am Ted Liquid.
Lance Bravestar is the person who was saying those, and they're really good.
Hold tight, it's Ted Liquid in the morning.
Francois Mapleberry.
Francois Mapleberry with Ted Liquid in the morning.
All right, that was all of them.
All right. Well, thank
Good
you
work,
so
everybody.
much. Way better than us.
I didn't read most of your actual names because the downside of doing that is that then it takes twice as long.
I didn't read the names of your names because I was jealous of your talent.
I'm usually the one like on the phone reading questions and reading the things. And...
Speaking of which, do you have the first question?
Oh, yeah. Let me just bring that up. You'd think I would stop walking.
No, we'll cut this. It'll be really instantaneous.
No, because we can't cut it because I'm going to thread from this straight into my reading the question. Coddling your players. Hi, Spencer and Cohen. Hi, Spencer and Cohen. I was wondering how each of you dealt with the urge to coddle your players. I am a new DM, and I consider it part of my job to allow my players the opportunity to succeed at solving problems in crazy ways, but sometimes I feel as if I'm too forgiving. how do you embrace the rule of cool while also keeping your world somewhat grounded? Further, do you consider it appropriate to fudge dice rolls or use Deus Ex Machinas to pull your players out of the fire? Thanks, and keep up the good work from Glenn.
You got any first thoughts?
Yeah, I have to do this I have to do this sometimes because the game that am DMing has 3 players and none of them are really healers.
Right.
One of them's a bard, but that's
bards aren't bad at healing.
No,
but you have to kind of
but
they
just hit level 3. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a natural instinct. Because kind of the thing that the only fail state is if everybody dies. Kind of. I mean, it's not a fail, but it's bad if it happens in the first encounter of what's supposed to be a few hours of playing.
Right. And it depends on your group's sensibility, but generally that's, the point of failure. Some people are fine with dying, but it really depends. I mean, I think the problem that is presented by being too forgiving is people don't really care about what's happening too much. There's not really stakes and they're not as invested. And you really deal with that by having more consequences and killing people harder and stuff. But it really just depends on your group's enjoyment level. Maybe it's fine just to have low stakes and stuff.
Yeah. Do you have this urge?
Which to
coddle your players?
Yeah, to an extent, especially on Harmon Quest, just because there's like a TV show I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
So it's like, you guys are really getting in the way of my TV show, you know? Hey, calm down, Seinfeld. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess also every session you have a completely new person who's probably never played the game before.
Right. So you also want to make them feel good. And anytime they fail, it makes you feel bad. So you don't want to make them fail too often if you can avoid it. But that's for making television.
Don't be afraid to let them get knocked out. I feel like that's the thing that people...
Yeah, there's actually a lot of leeway until you die.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Right.
Like, somebody's gonna get knocked out, then they got 3 rounds. Like, they got three fails, and like all any other player has to do is get to them and touch them to stabilize them.
Right, yeah. It's so you're set up for success there.
Yeah.
But
just trust that like the worst thing that can happen is that they'll all get killed, and then, they're being used in a summoning ritual. And then they wake up during the ritual.
Right. So that is a Deus Ex Machina that's not just immediately delivering them from danger. It's making it a plot point.
Yeah.
So that's a nice way to do it. I think that's the way you want to approach it, just because you're threading the needle between dangerous and killing everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have any other thoughts.
Well, I thought your thoughts you had were very good.
I thought I just shit him out up top and then I ran out. Like if you're just fisting a tube of toothpaste and it's just spraying everywhere. You ever fist a tube of toothpaste? It's not the traditional verb form of fist.
No, it's not. It's not. That's what my expression has been about.
I had a sense. So what's coming up next? I can't see these days.
Oh, here we go. Loot table, buddy.
Because I'm apparently 60.
Loot table or brute fable?
Oh man, the segment in which we make up things based on random chance.
Oh yeah.
Who's going first? You, I think.
I think it is me, according to our pre-show wrestling match that I won.
I was evens and you was odds.
Yeah, it was an odd wrestling match. Okay.
We're an odd couple.
All right, I got a 6.
Oh man, magic. I almost said Magimorph.
It's okay. All right, and I drew using the Golden Thread app. We should really get sponsored by them. The Knight of Pentacles.
Oh fuck.
A man of utmost diligence. He knows what he wants and is relentless in his pursuit of it. He is a hard worker, completing his mission with a complete and terrible efficiency. Although his path is long and hard, filled with tasks that might be repetitive and tiring, giving up is not an option.
You know it isn't.
Yeah. Let's see.
I can't remember, so I'm glad you have to do that one.
Yeah, a magic spell it's a spell, right? 6 is magic.
It could be a spell or a phenomenon, a magical event. It could even be like a school or kind of magic inspired that. So like it could just be like, say, a marathon magic for running a marathon, for instance. I don't know. But just kind of magic-y magic.
What's a magical-ish word that sounds like function?
Spell.
That doesn't land. Okay. Well, okay. I want. Okay, I've got it. It's called Adderalchemy,
Yeah.
and it's a type of potion that you can brew that allows you to produce a vial that enhances your character's executive functions and makes them better at completing tasks. However, it makes them worse at doing things that aren't that task. I would say it'd be similar to like maybe you'd have to pick from among a few things when you took it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like and probably not something as general as combat, but maybe like some kind of skill.
Yeah, like you can pick like like maybe 2 or 3 skills within one ability score.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's say there we go.
I don't know.
I would say like how about this? You pick 2 skills, and for the duration of the potion, you have advantage on skill checks involving those skills, but you have disadvantage on all other skill checks.
I like that.
Because that's it's like laser beam focus.
Yeah.
So like if you're in some kind of thing where you know a skill check is going to come up a lot, you can take it. However, the next day you have disadvantage on those skill checks unless you take it again. And it costs 5 gold material components to brew this spell.
Well, can you get a
potion.
health plan?
They'll cover 3, but you got to pay the other 2.
A god actually makes it, and you can pay him in a health plan overall, and it kind of just it evens out the coverage. I don't know. That's good. I mean, that's certainly plenty. You got anything else?
I feel like mechanically and I like it.
I think it's awesome.
Adderalchemy.
I think it's both cool conceptually and relevant in a game fashion.
And I'm piggybacking on a known thing.
Oh shit! And I can't remember other things. I showed Cohen some podcasts.
They're really good. It's for the Magic Drive to Work podcast. There's some good stuff. We'll talk about it.
I also got a 6.
All right, roll again. We don't want to need 2 spells.
Oh come on.
Okay, do it.
I got a 6 again.
All right, well, all right. I guess you.
I wasn't trying.
I think you dropped the die.
I didn't drop it the way.
All right, you've drawn. Press the phone. Just touch it. You've drawn the Lovers. A union of harmony, full of trust, confidence, and strength. This relationship is one that represents both a physical attraction and a deep emotional bond between them. It can also represent an inner harmony between 2 aspects of one's personality, anima and animus, yin and yang, and so forth. This is also major arcana, so I think going forward, major arcana stuff should be more powerful, because that would be fun.
So this concept is... It's a type of magic. It's a powerful type of magic. So in the world, you can be a wizard, right? That's when you're studying magic so much that you learn the science of manipulating the weave of magic or something. Mm-hmm. If you're a sorcerer, you have some sort of innate ability to affect magic. Clerics get it from their lord, their deities or their passions, and warlocks get it specifically from an otherworldly contact. This is a way for those non-magical people to use magic, but they have to utilize their souls and their love and their life force. It gets converted into spellcasting ability when they are on a similar wavelength as each other, and it's kind of it's related to. It's probably bestowed by a god, so it's maybe like a divine class of magic. But ultimately, it's like a semi-divination and abjuration style of magic that is based on like balance and harmony between the 2 parties that enter these pacts and vows.
So this is necessarily something you do with someone else, or like with one of these patrons?
Yeah, it would be 2 lovers would be doing this like to like save themselves, or as like in the culture it's like a way that they prove their love. It's like a cultural kind of thing, and it's just sanctified by this kind of magical expression that becomes the style of magic that
That's
the
really
culture
good.
venerates.
That's how earthbending was invented on Avatar.
Yeah, it's love bending.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of like that. So I don't know. I don't have anything more specific. It's based on, in Ragnarok, there's a thing called a soul linker, which is a really weird class where you could go, oh, I'm going to soul link with the monk, and that makes him punch twice as hard. But in the game, it was a really bad class, and it was really weird, and it had a lot of problems, but like, you could have special buffs to the person you were married to, and then you could adopt kids and have special buffs when you were around your kids. I don't know.
There's
it was weird.
There's a mechanic in 5th edition for getting married.
No, what does that do?
Like if you get a cleric to have 2 characters get married,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a cleric and there's a cleric, like they get some like bonuses for like 2 weeks or something. They get some like pluses to rolls and stuff.
It's just during the honeymoon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't want it to be broken, but I thought that was cute. That
They
there's like a
call
balance.
it the honeymoon phase. Yeah, no, that is cool.
The honeymoon phase walker.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, that sounds like something I might have glanced at vaguely. But yeah, no, that's cool. So that was loot table. Oh, what's the style of magic?
Seems like
What's it called?
what's the thing with what's the buffs? Abjuration.
Yeah, it's. I feel like it's protective magic, like Harry Potter is like protected by his parents' love, kind of that kind of magic. And then it's also, you have insight towards your future, which is like divination, which is like if you sense danger or something. So it's kind of like a familial kind of guiding sort of magic.
It feels like it would be cool if this was something you had to work at over time.
Yeah,
Like it wasn't a thing you could just be like, okay, these characters are in love and now they can do this. Like you both had to contribute a lot to it. And then if you wanted to, you'd had to like do things that were maintaining.
Yeah, it's like being
spell.
confirmed or being Catholic or something. It's like it's steeped in all this ritualism that's kind of part of making it continue to stay active.
Or like getting married.
Yeah. But it's like, when you get, but like Catholicism, there's all these steps, and then once you go, like, now I'm taking communion every month, and then maybe you do like get more involved in like, I don't know enough about Catholicism, but you kind of step up in terms of, I mean, you don't have to. There's this broad generalization.
No,
But what's a name
let's
for it,
really
though?
let's really dig into like what do you seems like you have some stuff to say about Catholics.
I have a lot of opinions on religion, and they're all right. That's the thing that separates mine from the others.
All right, sounds good.
But what do we call it though? What is I don't have a good
Oh,
pun name or anything. Agapomancy.
What's that mean?
Agape is like a Greek word for love or some shit.
Oh, okay. Agapomancy.
Agapomancy.
Agapomancy it is. The
good
magic of love.
And that was Loot Table or Brute Fable. Send us your brutes. Send us your loots.
Send us your toots.
Go to Discord and play the Loot Table or Brute Fable home game. We have we have a way to play. People love it.
Yeah, they have a lot of fun in there. I love our Discord.
Oh yeah.
I haven't been on it as much as I should.
I've been boxing. I've been setting picks and screens, keeping Cohen boxed out of the Discord.
He is, but I always find my way back in. What Spencer doesn't know is that I'm all the other people on the Discord.
And I don't know that.
Oh shit.
But it's
All right.
time to make a big hey guys, it's time to take a quick break. Hey Cohen,
Hey Spencer.
you know how hard summoning magic can be, right?
If I had a nickel for every time I'd fucked it up.
Well, check out this. It's a string.
Oh, it is. Where it goes from hand to hand.
It does until poof. You see that?
It's gone.
It's a quasit.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that this string, what I thought was a string, is now a 5th dimensional space that is just full of monsters that can be summoned at any time?
Yeah, because we're talking about Spell Brain Summoning String, the ultimate summoning string for summoners and other spellcasters who don't have time for lengthy summoning rituals and or circles.
So you just take the let me see if I can do it. So you just take this string
Yep.
and you just connect it like so.
Right.
Oh shit.
Look.
It's a method.
There it is. check this out. A giant ant.
Oh.
You see that? Oh, man.
And my method didn't stand a chance.
I know. It's half the fun of spell brains.
And now it's half the
summoning
method.
strings. and it's only half the price.
Shit, I got to deal with this ant. Hold on.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Yep, he's a big boy, but he goes down all the same. And you can too, thanks to Spellbrain Summoning String, the ultimate summoner's string.
Now, we've summoned some pretty small monsters here. If I were to connect these strings, could I summon something larger with a longer string?
Yeah, but that costs extra on top of the price of just buying multiple.
Well, it usually does, but if you go to the website today, spellbrainsummoningscircle.com, and enter the code MasterManualPod at checkout, you will get string connectors, spell summoning string connectors there to link your summons.
And we do mean today.
For free.
Just today.
Yeah,
That's
so by the
only
time
day.
you hear this, it'll be too late. But
well, we're not ruling out the possibility of you getting your hands on this earlier.
that's true. I know that there have been a lot of leaks.
Yep.
Secret episodes recorded without certain members of the cast. It's fine.
You guys don't want to know about this. And neither does Spellbrain, which is why he's offering an extra 10% off distraction discount to distract you from any of that.
Well, that's such a good discount. I don't even understand. Wait, all I can think about is this discount.
Spellbrain Summoning Strings for the discriminating summoner.
You'll be glad you did.
And I'll be glad we did.
Please use the code.
Which one is it?
It's the enter the code Master Manual Pod at checkout.
And we're back.
I sure did enjoy that suite of products.
You know I did as well. And as always, what do we always tell them?
Please go to the website.
Right.
We're so poor.
Oh, yeah, we need it. We need it so bad. Just go to that site. Oh, yeah, we love it.
All right.
Well, what do we got going on next?
We
Another
got,
question?
I think we got another question. Are you ready to hear it?
No,
Good.
but I will be
Well,
in between 10 to 30 seconds.
No, I've got it more ready than that.
Ears initializing.
You fucker.
Opening follicles.
Okay. Here we go.
Vibration set.
Hey, Spencer and Cohen. I played Pathfinder for a few years, but I've never GM'd. I've considered GMing a group with friends that have never played before, and it's very likely they'll lose interest while learning the rules and making their characters. How can someone who has never GM'd keep a group of new players with a short attention span interested? I wouldn't want to prepare a campaign just for them to bail out immediately. Thanks. No name.
Yep. So 2 thoughts off the bat. 1, red flag. If you don't want to do work, that'll get thrown away. Bad fit. You're
Yeah.
going to do work that'll get thrown away.
It's true. But you also don't have to plan out your entire campaign at the beginning.
Right. Which is second, modules might be a great fit for you. That way you're not doing any work.
That's a really great idea. And you know what? Even better than modules, why don't you give it a one-shot?
Oh, yeah.
Just do yourself a little one-shot.
Maybe some pre-made characters.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Did you know that on the D&D website, this is going to blow your mind. They have completely ready to play characters
What?
from levels 1 to 10.
I did not know that. That sounds cool as shit.
Yeah, they actually do. It's great. There's like 20 of them. They got like a dragonborn sorcerer, they got a human paladin, they got a elf ranger.
It sounds like just what this guy needs.
Yeah, and and the best part is they're actually not character sheets.
Right.
They're just like some information that you could use to play even if you didn't want to use it, if you weren't really ready for a character sheet.
Right.
It's just like here's their skills. Here's how to use some abilities. Here's what those abilities are.
Damn.
That kind of stuff. So if you wanted to just ask around, and they leave the name blank. So
Well, yeah.
that's
makes
cool.
sense. That's a good, yeah. Well,
It's a super good resource. I made use of it this past weekend.
I can't think of any other way to answer this guy's question.
Yeah, just don't have some cool ideas for where it might go, but like don't get your heart broken by planning out a whole campaign.
Yeah, that seems like not the move right here.
Yeah, and if stuff doesn't get used right away, you can always just recycle it and use it later.
Yep. But, do even less work.
Yeah,
Just use pre-made stuff.
use a one shot, baby.
Yep. So that's that answer.
Was such an easily answered question.
Yeah, man, we're just kicking ass and taking names.
Oh, that between season break really, really revitalized me and exhausted you.
Oh yeah, I'm dying.
I think it's Gamestorming next.
Yeah, do you want to roll into Gamestorming, the segment where we talk about how to apply video game things into D&D and make them into content or inspiration?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. What do you want to do?
I don't know. What's a good game? What's a game you like?
Zelda.
All right, Zelda.
Um,
What's something that works in Zelda?
what works in Zelda? Like, okay, what about a dungeon that has keys that work in any of the doors, but depending on what keys you use in the doors, that kind of colors the way you move through the dungeon. Like in Zelda, how if you use this one here, it's like, now where's the next key?
Yeah, I like that. That's fun.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a boss key, and maybe the
Right. Yes.
maybe the boss of the dungeon is just a giant key. Like the enemies are made of keys.
That could be good.
I like the idea of the enemies like evaporating and leaving behind like a key. Sometimes.
Yeah.
That sounds like that sounds really fun.
Oh, so is the key enemy not a serious pitch then?
Well, the one made of keys, I guess, could be like the final boss.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, because that works. I like it. So that's something. What about how there's the map and the compass that?
Yeah, that's cool.
What else? You always find like 5 bombs in a treasure chest and Zelda.
I liked in Link's Awakening, all of the dungeons were shaped like the things that they were.
Yeah, that was always cool.
Yeah, that was really neat.
The
So like
sword and
because
shield.
they were on like they were like
Mini
little,
map.
yeah. So actually having a map that formed it into a cool shape
Yeah.
would be fun.
Yeah, that's thematic base. It's shaped like a key.
Yeah.
Going with our extended theme here.
There is that dungeon that is shaped. There's the key dungeon.
There we go. So
like
keeping a key barrel in a good way.
Yeah.
I think we need to have that weird slime that if you hurt it, it hurts you really bad, and you got to put magic powder or some such on it.
I didn't know about slimes when I played that game, so I just thought it was like a little pissed off cucumber.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that thing is, truly. When you hit it with the dust, it like gets the weird eyes, and then it's like, now I really don't know what the fuck this is.
Yeah. It's fun because it's like one of the things in Zelda and Link to the Past where if you hit it with your sword, it hurts you.
Yeah.
It's like, surprise, motherfucker.
And magic powder I haven't used it in ages, but is a D&D trope I really like. The idea of Zelda magic powder. It has a certain amount of uses, and it just does stuff.
Yeah.
Depending, it's a really improvise heavy device, but it's like people are like, okay, I'll just try this magic powder. It could be a lot of fun. So that's something. That could even be involved in the dungeons mechanics, is to have a magic powder based puzzles.
That's fun. You could have a Stalfos in there. Everybody loves Stalfos.
Those are the skeletons, right? That jump away.
Or they reform after they're defeated, unless you destroy the bones with a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought that was so crazy. Like if you're fighting a regular skeleton, but when you attack it, it just like leaps 20 feet back and then shoots a bone at you.
They do that also.
That would be pretty. Like that would be like that. Obviously, if it falls apart and reforms, that's something like so. But both of those are cool riffs on a skeleton. That if you're like, oh, there's some skeletons, they're like, oh, we know what we're doing, and then like, oh, you go to attack and it immediately leaps 20 feet back. I mean, might be an interesting riff, kind of add more flavor to some skeleton encounters.
It'd be cool if after you killed it, it reformed into something else. Like
and then
Aku.
you kept having to do that, like into like its bones keep breaking, and so it's like a small, but it's like you have to really blow it up, otherwise it'll keep coming back.
Like maybe there's like 4 at first, and you fight them, and then they reform into 3 bigger things.
Yeah,
and then 2 even bigger things, and then 1 really big one. And
then if you put magic powder on them, maybe something happens.
Yeah. You gotta have that. Gotta have the magic powder.
So what's the boss? Is the key boss?
Yeah, or the bone boss.
Oh,
these
so
could be
that's
2
the boss.
different ones.
Okay.
I like the idea of a monster made of keys, and then you defeat it, and there's no treasure. But then when you examine the keys, you realize the keys are made of gold.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's like, oh, they look at on closer examination.
What would be made out of keys that would be cool? Like a big tree,
Ooh, a key tree.
like a tree of keys.
Do you think you would yield some key tree oil?
Oh yeah,
It's good for your hair.
good for your hair, good for your skin, good for wounds or something. I don't know what will be made out of keys. Maybe it's just some sort of beast that's made out of keys.
I can't believe it's taken me this long. Obviously, you would get a keyblade.
Yeah,
And
that's like in the middle of it.
yeah, that's the treasure.
Yeah,
and you
then
can
key
unlock any
coins.
door.
And then then the gold keys that you could maybe trade for money.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, Zelda. We could always come back to Zelda, but there's one.
yeah, I like it. I
Yeah.
mean, I think we've explored some Zelda concepts, but there's some other stuff.
and mostly like Link's Awakening Zelda
Yeah,
concepts
well, that's
too,
the
which
one.
is good.
That's the one I had on the brain. I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I think of applying like video games to dungeons, I'm definitely thinking of 2D Zelda. Definitely.
I guess one other thing. This is kind of a big concept, so
Mhm.
maybe later on this one. But
Yeah.
I just want to throw out one thing that I really loved is when you in Link to the Past and in Ocarina of Time, it said straight up, "Here's the 3 things you need to get.
Right.
Start with this." But from the beginning, these are the 3 things you need to get.
Yeah.
The medallions of courage, power, and wisdom, or like the 3 spiritual stones, and it's cool to have that. Maybe and it's a little
Because
bit
world
traditional.
building.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, they know that they're making progress.
Yeah.
Getting relics is, I guess it's video
It's
gaming,
cool.
but it works. There's
Yeah.
a reason people do it.
Or like, and I mean, people probably have maybe done stuff like that. Or like you go to like different elemental shrines is kind of like going to these similar, like you go to like, oh,
yeah.
this is the mountains one, and here's like you visit the sea sage. Like that kind of thing is a cool, another way to kind of segment out adventures or kind of like backdrop stuff. Yeah, but yeah, that's cool too. That's like structure, but yeah, definitely inspiration. Do you wanna go questioning?
Yeah, let's hit another question.
Is that what you do to a question? You question it.
Yeah, you question the question.
What's questions?
You ask what is the best answer to you.
On Tumblr, you do ask asks,
Yeah, don't talk to me about Tumblr.
and presumably they question questions.
Okay, we got a good question here. It's Dear
Awesome.
Spencer and Cohen, thank you for mentioning me too. I'm not an inexperienced player, but I am a beginner DM. I have a player, new to tabletop, that will inject some metagame/literary criticism of the narrative during play. He's not wrong, as I have much to learn about DMing, but he will also make assertions about the situation and take action before I can establish the scene. As an FYI, my game is 10% prepared and 90% improvised. I don't want to punish him in-game for sizing up a situation that I haven't even fleshed out in my head yet. However, it creates a break in the action, and I begin to lose confidence in the game's direction and the player's interest. Should I confront the player with my concern? Should I instead focus on preparing more? They got things. They have some ideas, but I think we should stick with our ideas.
Yeah. So, do you have any thoughts, or should I just blast off the dome?
Why don't you start?
So, I think that you might want to not necessarily talk to the player about it off the bat. That's not to say that's a bad option, but based on what I'm hearing, I think that maybe you just want to respond in the moment going forward and not let them be right about things and clarify things for them before they get going, so that you're kind of nipping it in the bud and not letting kind of misunderstandings or misinterpretations snowball and become more established. Because they're kind of creating these expectations by doing these things that they'll continue to work, and that's continuing to make it harder to cut through. Whereas if you get it in there early, it kind of helps it from not building up so much.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like they're kind of treating it as like collaboratively creating the scene,
Right.
sort
But-
of improv style.
Yeah, which can be good, but if you're writing us, it means that it's coming into problems, and that's why you need to be clarifying in those ways.
I'd say it's hard because you did say it's like 90% improvised.
Right.
It's hard to, that seems like a lot of improvisation. And I say that as somebody who improvises a lot.
Sure.
I would say nail down some things you know for sure about these scenes. If that 10% represents here are the places that they go to, know that stuff, and I give it next time this person hops in, maybe just a quick. Hold on just a second. I want to finish establishing the scene.
Yeah. Right. quick.
Like, hold on, let me finish describing.
Yeah, because that is a thing that people talk over you too early, and you just gotta be like, you just gotta get back in there or something. It's an awkward thing, but it's like sometimes people interrupt you in real life too, and it's just like that's a hard thing to deal with.
Yeah, especially if somebody's very kind of bulldozing over.
Yeah, that's not good for anybody, but that's why you gotta be like, hey, I gotta hold on, almost just 2 more seconds. I don't know.
It makes me wonder what the other players at the table are feeling about this.
I think that person's sense sounded like, I can't remember exactly what quote they had, but it sounded like they weren't sure how much the other players were invested because of that. So
yeah.
I think that it might be at least they're worried that it might be making them at least a little having less fun.
Yeah.
I can't fucking talk, man. Thanks for listening to this podcast, by the way. You're really doing me charity right now.
No, it's good. It's good stuff. You're really good.
Any last thoughts here? Yeah, I think you don't have to talk to them specifically, but next time it happens, just be like, almost, just hold on. I don't know. Address it then.
I mean, a good way to keep things from becoming a big deal is to not make a big deal out of them.
Yeah, it's so easy to like, and not to say it's bad to kind of like frame things with structure and kind of make them into these separate, like, hey, can I talk to you about something that I've been thinking about all the time? Like, it's not to say you shouldn't do that, but a lot of times you can get your point across in a very casually, oh, this is an almost accidental, so stupid of me to bring it up right here kind of way that makes it go down a bit easier. And also, and even if they're not like comfortable with it, it makes them feel like, oh, this person is treating it so casually. If I make a big deal out of this, it makes me feel like more of a jerk than I might otherwise feel.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. Sometimes when people get the sense that you've prepared a thing to talk to them about,
right.
It can make them feel like it can make it feel like, yeah, you just said sorry.
Yeah, it's like oh, did that person write a PowerPoint presentation to control me? It's a weird.
Yeah, a little bit like, oh, I didn't realize my bad behavior had been under discussion.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was becoming a lecture series. But yeah, okay, so
slide 1, how you been fucking up?
Yeah. It's a hard thing. I don't know. It's always a tricky point to like tell someone, give someone any advice, or give someone notes, criticism. Yeah. So whatever.
Let us know how that works out though, because I'm pretty curious about this one.
This is a great candidate for follow-ups. I think that would be good to know. Well, I guess we just got a segment left. I mean, we got all sorts of stuff.
It's that one everybody loves. Alternate monster lore.
Animals. What animal are you going to do? Can we do goblins?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to do goblins. I don't know what I want to do to goblins. Do you have any ideas?
Let me think. Not off the top of my head, but let's.
What if it has something to do with electricity?
Okay.
Is it like, are goblins, they're powered by electricity?
These sound okay. Okay. I think I got something.
Okay, go.
So goblins, this is, I guess, borrowing a little bit from orcs in Warhammer 40K, but goblins are a plant. They're like a plant-based organism.
Okay.
They started off as like just plant things.
Sure.
And from a lightning strike, they gained some kind of sapience because it activated it basically gave electricity is giving them an ad hoc intelligence.
Yeah.
But now there's this tribe that's just having to keep producing electricity or they lose their sapience, like at Flowers for Algernon style.
Right. It's like their genetic makeup is starting to defray or something, and so
I think constantly.
Yeah. So now this offshoot of it, they're just constantly, and so they've had to create water mills and use their goblin intelligence to create apparatus to power themselves.
Yeah, like a little battery they carry with it, some kind of crude battery, chemical engineered battery that maybe is strapped to their back.
Yeah. And so these would be maybe more sciencey than gnomes, just because, or at least just in terms of modern electrical stuff. But they don't. I don't know. Maybe they don't have super magical aptitude, but I
Wait,
don't know, either
what
way.
if the more electricity they get, the smarter they get?
Yeah, because they're running higher efficiency.
Yeah, so like your like low stakes crappy goblins would just have like a big dumb battery on their back.
Or like
But
a
then,
bottle of like salt water. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, or like a potato.
Yeah, yeah.
A potato with a copper wire that
That's
goes
like-
into their mouth.
Yeah, that's like the low. That's a default goblin, and
So
you're
those would
born
be-
with a potato.
Yeah, so but then like as you like rise through the ranks, you start and like maybe you start seeing guys that have like maybe metal discs implanted in their hands,
Yeah,
and then like you get to the final guy and he's just basically a robot at this point. He's maybe replaced whole parts of his body to conduct electricity better, and
yeah, and
He's-
like the king maybe has a lightning rod or something.
Oh,
because
yeah.
he can afford one.
what if so what are they trying to do? Maybe they're trying to trap some kind of lightning god, or like
Yeah,
maybe they're trying they're trying to raise a which is the evil dragon that has electricity.
the evil dragon that has electricity. That one.
Yeah, well, it's one of the
I don't know the name.
is it silver? Silver's ice. I can figure this out. Silver's blue.
Blue.
Blue is electricity. So they're
You just meant the color. I thought you meant there was a famous.
no, I meant
dragon.
the
My bad.
evil
Sorry.
dragon race.
I definitely
that does
could have
look-
got there.
Yeah, I
My
just-
bad.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to hatch, and maybe they have like a blue dragon wormling that they are trying to
Yeah.
raise.
Or they have like a dying lightning elemental, and so they're like, we really got to get this dragon off the ground.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're trying to replace.
Yeah.
Maybe they have like a captured. What's the electricity gen? Is there one?
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah. Anyway, they're trying to do that.
I guess lightning's not a standard elemental. I'm sure there's lightning elementals somewhere. And then also,
Well, maybe that's the reason.
Right.
There's like they've got like a wind one,
or
and
like they could live in a place where there's a magical constant lightning storm, but then that's dried up, or they want to like create a magical constant lightning storm.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
like the idea of they started off not in a place that was particularly conducive, and we're
Right.
seeing them like they've advanced a ways.
They're creating the apparatus they need to not go extinct.
Yeah, or like they figured out how to stabilize.
Right.
Like maybe they have maybe with like a chemical engineering battery, they
Yeah.
can just like a regular ass battery. They can
Like
they
the
can
Egyptians had.
yeah they could be fine.
Right.
But they're trying to get more and more because the smarter they get, the smarter they want to be.
Yeah.
And then they're chasing these impossible highs.
And the more powerful they get, and then maybe they get better at like wielding lightning,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know, at the highest echelon. So then they're like, this is the best. You could just, because then it's like doing drugs almost. It's like, I want to like use 5 years of my life in lightning just because
Yeah.
it feels so great. I think we did it, man.
Yeah, I like these. What are they called? Oh, I got it.
Do it.
Stormtroopers
That's
or shock troops.
shock troops, goblin shock troops.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. That's animals. You could use it in your campaign if you want. Oh, man. Usually that would be the end of the show, but we're trying out a new segment called Fail Mail.
Yeah, we decided that instead of just tapering off pathetically at the end, maybe we could describe how one of your campaigns tapered off pathetically.
Personally, I love tapering off pathetically and anything that leads towards terrible content because that just proves me right that our endeavor is bad. But, you know, Cohen is just, he loves, you know, making good stuff that people love. So we're trying it this way. See how that goes.
I thank you for that succinct description of our host co-host dynamic.
Sprinkle Bun says, my very first time DMing, I had a player decide to be as chaotic as evil as possible without telling me beforehand, and ruined my campaign so badly that I had to make the event a canon Dark Age that set my world back hundreds of years progress-wise. It was a simple adventure party of mercenaries being hired by the king to do the equivalent of erasing his internet history before his wife got home from her trip by collecting MacGuffins and traveling to see a celestial equivalent of the Watcher and request he erase or rewrite those moments of his history, which was basically just a gigantic guy sitting in a security camera room with an archive of VHS tapes. Almost immediately, the player who was playing a Minotaur barbarian named Grordar attacked and critical hit the king, impaling on him on his horns, and killing a ton of people for no reason. They were then on the run for the police. We only played 2 sessions before he stopped showing up, but he caused so much damage that I canonized him as Mad King Grordar, who erased all history before him, established himself as the king, and enslaved most of the world for nearly a century until a bunch of Celestials had to come down to kill him because he was nearly immortal. Fail mail. Send us your fails.
Yeah, send a fail mail to mastermanualpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, so in there's circumstances in which we might want to like give people advice on how not to fuck up next time, but that was just an amazing story we wanted to share.
Yeah, you just sounded like you had a terrible player who stopped coming, but then you were able to weave their stuff into inspiration.
It's fucking great.
You basically turned this person into the broken shark from Jaws.
Yeah. It's awesome. So that's fail mail. Send us anything that if you were a DM, if you were a player, if you were a player who failed at a task so monumentally that, it's just like there's that D&D meme where you go to choke someone and you pat his back gently or something like that, That's kind of a fail mail, that stuff.
Especially campaign ruining stuff. That's
right.
The good shit.
We got a Discord. You could put it in the Discord, or you could send us an email. Just put fail mail in the subject.
Yeah, mastermanualpod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, Twitter and Instagram at mastermanualpod.
Also on Facebook. What else? We got the Discord. We got a Reddit. Yeah, that's all of it. That about does it.
Looks like we booked it again.
Mastery is manual.
Until next time.